The story of Domovoi's house, god or ghost. Domovoi, sometimes called Domovoi or Domovoi, was a pre-Christian house spirit, a creature that lived in the hearth or behind the hearth of a Slavic home and protected the inhabitants from harm. The word Domovoi comes from the word dom, house, and its literal meaning is owner of the house. Noted since the 6th century AD, Domovoi sometimes appear as an old man or woman, and sometimes as a pig, bird, calf or cat. Domovoi are supernatural creatures that appear in Slavic mythology. All peasant houses have Domovoi. They are the spirits of one, or all, of the deceased family members and act as their guardians. As gentle souls, Domovoi will do everything in their power to help the homeowner. Domovoi became part of the Slavic tradition of ancestor worship. But be careful, if unfortunately they get upset, the consequences will be very unpredictable. Domovoi lived in the hearth or behind the hearth, and the heads of the family were careful not to disturb the smoldering remains of the fire to keep their ancestors from falling through the hearth. When a family builds a new house, the eldest child goes in first, because the first person to enter the new house will soon die and become Domovoi. When the family moved from one house to another, they would light a fire and put the ashes in a jar and carry it with them saying, "Welcome to the new man." But if a house is abandoned, even if it is burned, the Domovoi remain, rejecting or accepting the next occupants. To prevent death from coming to the eldest member of the family, families can sacrifice a goat, chicken or sheep and bury it under the first rock or log and do not take the Domovoi with them. When the oldest member of the family dies, he becomes the Domovoi for the house. If there are no men in the house, or the homeowner is a woman, then the Domovoi is denoted as a woman. Domovoi usually appears as an old man about the size of a 5-year-old child, or less than a foot tall, covered in hair. Even the palms of his hands and soles of his feet are covered with thick hair. On his face, there was only space around his eyes and nose. Other versions describe the Domovoi as having wrinkled faces, golden gray hair, white beards, and glowing eyes. He wears a red shirt with a blue belt or a blue kaftan with a pink belt. Another version has him appearing as a beautiful young man dressed entirely in white. Domovoi is said to nag and quarrel, and it only comes out at night when the house is asleep. At night, he visits the sleeping people and runs his hairy hands over their faces. If the hand feels warm and soft, it is a sign of good luck. When they are cold and hairy, misfortune is coming. The main function of Domovoi is to protect the family's family, warn them when something bad is about to happen, prevent forest spirits from playing pranks on the family and witches from stealing cows. Industrious and thrifty, Domovoi go out at night and ride horses, or light candles and roam the farm. When the head of the family passes away, crying can be heard at night. Before war or fire breaks out, Domovoi leave their homes and gather in the grasslands to lament. If misfortune for the family awaits, Domovoi warn them by making knocking sounds, riding horses at night until they are exhausted, or forcing watchdogs to dig holes in the yard or howl in the yard. Village. But Domovoi are easily offended and must always be given gifts, small robes buried under the floor for them to wear or leftovers from dinner. On March 30th of every year, the Domovoi becomes evil from dawn until midnight, and it must be neutralized with food, such as cake or a pot of grain stew. Variations on Domovoi. In some Slavic households, different versions of the house spirits are found throughout the farms. When a spirit lives in a bathhouse, he is called a bannock, and people avoid bathing at night because the bannock can suffocate them, especially if they have not prayed first. Russian domovoi that live in the yard are domovoi laska, domovoi weasels, or dvororoi, yard people. In a barn, the ovenik family, barn dweller, and in the barn, the gumenik family, barn dweller. When a spirit guards a stable, he is called a vazila, for horse, or bagan, for goat or cow, and he takes on the physical aspects of the animals and stays in the kennel all night. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.